All right, here we go. Brandyn Ainsworth coming out to a little bit of 50 Cent.
So when you go there, do you go there for like the wings, or have you had like a steak dinner or chicken?
No, I like the
wings?
wings. I like the hot sandwiches. I mean, they make everything good. But I'll tell you what, the appetizers there are out of this world.
I've seen some of just the entrees on social media and stuff. I mean, everything looks freaking amazing over at Vice
I'm
Versa.
salivating right now like Pavlov's dog.
Thinking about it.
And for those of you folks at home that don't know what Pavlov's dog is, you need some psychology
in your life.
Yeah. Use Google. All right, here we go. Brandyn Ainsworth. 2-1. Mukhtar Barros 2-1. This is for the featherweight title. Cage Wars MMA.
And I'm glad we got a little bit more local flavor for this particular contest.
Yes, you know, we love the Canada, we love the South and the West, but it is nice to have a couple of local guys get in there and bang it out. Brandyn Ainsworth, the guy who's really come up in Cage Wars, and you see now much more calm than his first fight ever here. I mean, this young man has really evolved into a complete mixed martial artist. All right, here we go.
And his opponent making his way to the red corner.
Wait for this pop.
Mukhtar Barros.
You see his twin brother Musa there with the dreadlocks. You see Team Jukow there following him down to the cage. Boxing coach Hakeem Newkirk. Paul LaFon back there behind him. All the guys and girls from Jukow. All right, we hear that reaction from Mukhtar. Look at him, he looks like Clark Kent about to kick your ass.
You know what? He does have kind of like a scientist kind of a look to him, you know? Like
He's
a
about
scholar.
to scientifically kick your ass.
Very scholarly.
Pi equals 3.14.
Yeah. Mukhtar.
And again, we see Luis Fay, we see his twin brother Musa, we see Hakeem Newkirk, the whole Team Jukow family there representing, supporting Mukhtar in his title aspirations.
We were looking forward to seeing Luis Melendez tonight.
I really was, especially in pro rules, allowing the elbows. I mean, I really wanted to see him show out in front of the home crowd in his first pro MMA fight.
Plus, he's just such a good dude. I mean, he told a bit of his story here in the cage. It's like he's an engineer.
Nuclear engineer, not just an engineer. Not like a civil engineer or...
Brilliant. I mean, do you know how much, actual like commitment and time it takes to become an engineer and plus a professional fighter? What would he have any time of the day left over to do?
Well, he grew up in a martial arts family. His family owned a martial arts school. He grew up in discipline. He grew up in consistency. He grew up in accountability and follow-through, and that shows as he's an adult.
We're talking about Luis Melendez there, who was supposed to be on this card. Fight didn't happen, but he's in the corner supporting one of his boys tonight, and a big fight at that for a featherweight title. Mukhtar Barros about to make his way into the cage.
And you see how calm Mukhtar is.
Yeah.
You know, you see some of the video of him and his brother. Him and his brother have fights in the gym. So, you know, this is just another day at the office for him.
No, he looks like he is in the zone right now. That's his brother, I'm assuming,
yep,
standing
absolutely.
behind
His
him.
twin brother, Musa, yep.
Who's the better fighter?
The guys in the gym will say Mukhtar.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's more just about he's a little bit more composed, a little bit more put together, but they're both absolute animals.
Well, I think we're set for our co-main event. We'll turn it into the cage with Mike Falvo for the fighter introduction.
I mean, it's kind of like what's worse, a Wolverine or a honey badger. Pick your poison.
3-minute rounds for the Cage Wars Featherweight Championship. This championship bout is brought to you by Cage Wars MMA and Sticker Mule. It is presented by Labor's local number 157 here in Schenectady. Unions fight, unions win. It is also brought to you by Vice and Virtue. This championship bout is approved and sanctioned by the United States Muay Thai Association. Executive Director Ed Kinner is in attendance. The judges at cage side for this championship bout are Mr. Dave DeRossi, John Lopez, and Eric Kilmar. The fight doctor at cage side is Dr. Keith Schenker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, 3 3-minute rounds for the Cage Wars Featherweight Championship. Let's do this! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He entered the cage standing 5 feet 6 inches tall. His official weight, 145 pounds, representing Goju Ryu Ki out of Gloversville, New York, Brandyn Ainsworth. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighed in last night at 145 pounds, representing Team Zhukao out of Scotia, New York, Mukhtar Beast Barros.
This should be an interesting one. Barros and Ainsworth, two local guys for the for the featherweight title here.
All right, gentlemen, been through the rules in the locker room. Want to obey my commands at all time. Want to protect yourselves at all time. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Good luck to both of you.
Mukhtar in the red.
And the man in
Ainsworth
charge of the action when this door closes is Dan Mergliotta.
Both guys in great shape, but I got to tell you, Barros just looks, he looks like he ain't got an ounce of fat on him.
Well, and again, for the folks at home, that doesn't always mean anything.
No.
Look at Roy Nelson back in the day.
But he is just thick. Wow, nice takedown early there by Ainsworth.
And again, Mukhtar might not have been expecting that coming from a jiu-jitsu gym,
Boy, that was easy, wasn't it?
It really was, because again, it was a matter of timing, and Ainsworth did a great job with the timing of that. Now he's in half guard. Can he clear that knee?
Great start by Ainsworth.
Mukhtar trying to lock that left leg in. Now right here, Ainsworth has to control himself. Although Mukhtar's on the bottom, he's controlled, he's composed, he's grabbing that underhook. Nice job by Ainsworth to step that knee over. Can he maintain that side control? There we go, Mukhtar looking to trap that left leg again.
It seems impressive by Ainsworth considering how fresh Mukhtar was, right?
Absolutely, but look, Ainsworth is looking to isolate that arm over to the other side to get the head and arm choke, but he's got to get to the other side of Barros. Excellent awareness to get to north-south by Ainsworth.
Boy, that was some skill right
I'm
there.
telling you, Ainsworth has really developed his ground game.
That was impressive.
Mukhtar looking to lock down and roll. Ainsworth doing a good job staying on top, keeping heavy, hips low. And again, Mukhtar's a strong guy, so Brandyn is doing a great job using that leverage and that weight. Trying to go knee on belly. Mukhtar trying to bring that knee in to create that shield. Ainsworth has to be careful not to tire that left arm out around that neck. They're calling for knee on belly, but again, not necessarily the right position. A little bit too north-south for that. Trying to get back to side mount. Much easier to hit knee on belly with that right knee from here. Trying to get the head off the head, the hand off the head. Nice job.
Despite the strength of Barros, this is pretty much textbook so far by Ainsworth.
It really is. Excellent awareness, good control, nice use of his head for down pressure.
And 2 minutes down in the first round, 1 minute to go. For the featherweight
Mukhtar doing a nice job locking that right leg down. Excellent work by Brandyn Ainsworth controlling this round. Mukhtar opens up the guard, locks it back down on that right leg. This was not what I was anticipating. Looking for that choke. Can he sink it in? This is a bad spot for Barros.
I think he's got it.
I think he does too. Can it create the right amount of pressure? Barros driving those hips up.
It's kind of a weird angle, isn't it?
It really is. It's tough to tell from here. He does have the arms locked. Nice job by Mukhtar.
Great job getting out.
But oh my goodness, Brandyn Ainsworth with the awareness tonight, folks.
That was a championship level round for Ainsworth there.
That really was, and that was a totally different Brandyn Ainsworth. Fighting a very adept jiu-jitsu practitioner, Mukhtar Barros.
If I had told you that they were going to spend 3 minutes on the ground,
with Ainsworth being
you wouldn't have
taking
expected
advantage.
that.
I never would have expected
Hell of a
that.
job by the young man. Good for him.
You know, Mukhtar doing a nice job being calm there when he had that locked up. Again, as you noted, it was a bit of an awkward position, but sometimes those chokes still occur in those positions once those hands are locked around the arms.
With the amount of control that Ainsworth had, if you're Barros' corner, do you try think of a different strategy or something
Stay
different
off
to
your
start
back.
the round?
Stay off your back, use your jab, put him against the cage.
But
get
now
your head
he's in a
low.
tough spot because what would have been considered a strength of his is now not.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm saying, you know, he's got to get Brandyn Ainsworth against the cage. He's got to make Brandyn Ainsworth tire out. Right now, Brandyn Ainsworth was on top the entire round.
I would imagine Barros would probably try to come out and maybe soften up his opponent with some strikes early on in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely try to
second
keep it on the feet a little bit here.
Yep.
He wants to take the center of the octagon. Again, Brandyn Ainsworth knows right where his bread is
Great
buttered
timing.
tonight.
But Barros also just walked right into that, though, didn't he, a little bit?
He did. He did. Mukhtar trying to wrestle up to the knees. Brandyn Ainsworth doing a good job trapping that left leg.
There he goes.
But again, he's got that leg. Does he have the neck? What can we do here? What can we see? Oh, Ainsworth pops out. Excellent job. Into Mukhtar's guard. Open guard for Barros.
It's a real gritty fight, man.
It is, but you know, every second that goes this way is more and more control time for Brandyn Ainsworth. Good job by Mukhtar. Can he come out the back door? Oh, excellent awareness by Ainsworth again. He's talking about a poke in the eye. The thing these fighters have to realize is the ref can't call it if they don't see it. You know, so even if it happens, the ref has to see it. Here we go. Mukhtar's trying to trap that right arm of Ainsworth down, opening up that guard, trying to look for that sweep to that right side. There he goes. Ainsworth again, very aware.
I'm not sure if Ainsworth is compromised by that or not, but it appears as though he's had his one eye shut during this entire exchange. I don't know if that eye poke really got to him, but we may find out if they...
Mukhtar trying to create some distance here. Coming up on that halfway mark, 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
This is
Got that left leg trap.
It's a tough
Let's
little
go.
scrap here.
But again, nothing but control for Brandyn Ainsworth here. Coming up on the final minute of this second round. And again, even though Ainsworth isn't doing a ton here, he's staying here. He's controlling here. He's trying to advance the position. Here we go, final 60 seconds of round number 2. Good head pressure by Ainsworth. Barros trying to get to that left hip, create that angle.
It might not be the most pleasing fight to the eye, but Ainsworth is coming in here he's trying to get a win, and by any means necessary.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
And
I mean, you know, why change something if it's working? Again, I just would not have expected him to have this much of an advantage on the ground. I know he's got some wrestling behind him, but again, Barros is very adept on the ground, so that shows, you know, the level that Ainsworth has reached.
Could, in your opinion, Barros be doing more to get back out of this position?
He's looking for that head and arm choke, trying to get to the other side of Barros. Barros trying to get to his belly. Ainsworth has to get to the right side of Barros. He's on the wrong side for this choke.
But the dominance continued through round number 2.
Wow, that's 2-0 there for Brandyn Ainsworth. He's getting up a little bit slow. Let's see if Mukhtar can take advantage of that in this third and final round. He's got to go for a finish.
Mukhtar getting some instruction in the corner. Looks like he's calm and composed still.
His corner imploring him, though. They need a finish here. They know they're down.
Fight fans, make some noise. This is our third and final round.
All right, here we go. Third and final round, guys. Who will be the new Cage Wars Featherweight title holder?
Now, if you're Barros, you cannot allow yourself to be taken down within the first 15 seconds of the round, which has happened in the first 2. Know that it's coming. Circle around, throw a jab.
Use lateral movement, throw a jab, feint a jab.
But Ainsworth's timing has been fantastic. And you know
He
he's
really
going to go
has.
for it.
He changes the level really well at the right times.
Doesn't take long. But this
Ainsworth breathing with the mouth open. Mukhtar cannot chase, though, because you know he's going to change that level. He's got to be ready for that rear uppercut. Ainsworth is trying to bait him to come in, change the level. Boom.
But this is
look for that leg.
that was perfect.
Exactly, that's what was coming. We knew it. But it's a matter of stopping it. Let's see if he can turn this into a triangle choke. Oh, good job by Ainsworth working to the opposite side. Mukhtar has that right arm temporarily trapped. But again, we're running out of time if we're Mukhtar Barros. Brandyn trying to isolate that left arm of Mukhtar. Look for the Americana. Good job by Mukhtar straightening that arm out, trying to get to the hip.
But if you're Mukhtar, though, this hasn't worked for the first 2 rounds, and here you are now on your back again in the third.
But again, is that Mukhtar's fault, or is that Ainsworth's pro and plus?
I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you, because it did appear early in the start of the round. It appears as though Ainsworth was just inviting him in.
90 seconds left.
And Mukhtar took the bait.
All things stay status quo. This is going to be Brandyn Ainsworth's title.
And well-deserved, and nothing against Ainsworth. But Barros is not going to get a finish from the bottom.
No, absolutely not. Ainsworth in full mount now. Barros trying to turn. Trying to get out. Back to half guard now. Coming up on the final 60 seconds. Here we go. Again, Ainsworth is doing enough to keep the position here, enough damage, trying to advance the position enough, and this is falling right into his game plan. Really, Mukhtar just has not had the answer for what has been Colin Ainsworth.
And it's not Ainsworth's fault that it's not Ainsworth's fault that the fight hasn't been interesting. He's just been that dominant.
Yes, he's neutralized Mukhtar's weapons and implemented his own efficiently and effectively.
How much of it do you think the fighter does want to put on a show and wants to have the stoppage and all that? And how much of that is, nope, I just want to get out of here with a win?
In the moment, these guys are reacting. It's training. There's not a lot of active thought process there in terms of cognitive thought like that. Before the fight maybe, but in the fight, it's instinct. Wow, great job by Brandyn Ainsworth.
Nice job by Ainsworth.
Brandyn Ainsworth, amazing.
I don't think there'll be too much drama leading up to the decision. Not to take anything away from Ainsworth, it just wasn't a very interesting fight, but that's because he dominated for literally 9 minutes.
Excellent job by Brandyn Ainsworth. All things considered, this looks to be Brandyn Ainsworth's fight. Anything happens, but.
Ainsworth getting some instructions from some folks in the front row.
Probably friends, family,
teammates.
Friends,
family, all those things.
Mike Falvo over there with the USMTA scorekeeper, making sure they get the right result. If you heard, the Island boys fought each other the other night.
Oh, they did?
And they announced the wrong winner. So again, we're making sure we take our time here. No Island boy incidents.
No. The only way that could have ended better is if they both lost. Not this fight, the Island boys. All right, up to Mike Falvo we go for the decision.
As always, fight fans, a round of applause for 2 great fighters and 1 great co-main event. After 3 hard-fought rounds of mixed martial arts, we go to the official scorecard. All 3 judges have scored the fight 30-27 for your winner. By way of unanimous decision, Brandyn Ainsworth.
Thoroughly dominated, 30-27.
He is the new
kudos to
Featherweight
Brandyn Ainsworth.
champion.
Kudos to Brandyn Ainsworth and Goju Ryu Ki. They have really come a long way with their training.